Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek-Stew, and today, guys, welcome back to Ctrl the Speedcast. I am your co-host, Ike Isaacs, and I am joined with the only man on this planet who has 3 testicles and no penis. Welcome, Salsa Shark.
All right, come on now. You really think there's no one else like me out there? That's bullshit. Chernobyl exists.
True, very true. There are a lot of very unfortunate mutations from the Chernobyl incident. Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna
Lord.
say, you look at what happened there in Hiroshima, and you tell me there's not a motherfucker born with 3 testes and no a dong.
Oh, man. Honestly, I like how every time we open up an episode, I always like just start talking shit about you, and you just accept it.
Listen, man, you wake up, you choose violence, and what am I gonna do? Fight back? I ain't got the time or the energy, man.
Fair, fair. All right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this. So, first and foremost, I'm gonna give a very special thank you to all of the wonderful people out there who have subscribed to our channel. We are at, that's right, 208 subscribers. So we we basically, I mean, it's crazy. When me and Salsa started doing the whole podcast thing, I know I personally was like, yeah, doing the podcast will be interesting. It'll be a lot of fun. I've done podcasts before. Um, I did a podcast not too long ago, well, a few years ago, with a someone who used to be a friend of mine. I think Salsa, you probably know him.
I don't know, do I?
Yeah, you do because he was the one that like would used to hit on Jen.
What the fuck? You did a podcast with that guy?
Right. Well, it was before and like I don't want to talk like too much shit about this guy because I don't know if he like listens to our podcast, so I'm not gonna say his name. But yeah, we did a small podcast together, and it wasn't the worst thing. I mean, we got along pretty all right, and like because we used to work at the movie theater together. So I mean, I've talked about this before, but I used to work at a movie theater years ago.
Oh, oh, that guy who hit on Jen. See,
Yeah.
I was thinking of like 3 other people, so
You're like, oh
that
shit.
yeah, that makes more sense. At first I was like, what did you and a British guy have in common? But this completely a different guy. I get it now.
Oh yeah, the British guy. Oh man, that's great. But no, yeah, the other guy, we did a podcast, and like we did all right, but we did it for over a year, and it just we never drew enough people, and I don't know if we just didn't have the entertainment part down or what. But I mean, me and Salsa, relatively speaking, have had some reasonable success lately. I mean, last episode we almost had 30 views on just the Control-C podcast episode where we talked about ghosts, cats, and TSA. So I mean, it's pretty great. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Speaking of
Yeah, I
which,
mean,
or go ahead.
I was gonna say, I started this. Well, I didn't really start this. I kind of just you're like, hey, do you want to run a show? And I'm like, sure, why not? It's cheaper than therapy.
True,
And here
true.
we are, 200 people listening to me talk about my problems. Whether or not they care, who knows? But hey, that's like having 200 therapists for $0. That's a
For
win.
$0 fare. But speaking of our last episode, and of the 200 subscribers, a couple of the people who I guess subscribe to us or follow us. So if you're listening to this, this is just a small shout out. Thanks for interacting with us. I love having people interact with us on these things because it's always fun. But they had some pretty interesting ones. So this guy's name's 1414A Taylor says, I really like Hardy's food, but I had a very similar experience once. He's referencing me and Salsa's conversation about how Hardy's basically doesn't give a fuck if you're there or not. But Mr. Taylor here, or Mrs. Taylor, or they, them Taylor, said, employees were yelling at customers to sit down and shut up. Liking cold fries is hilarious. And then he says, or they said, I just hope they find bodies in your crawl space, though. Referencing Salsa, because
The thing is, I can't tell if that's in text format. I can't tell if that's a threat or a promise.
That's like such a random threat. You will find bodies in your crawl space. Like, did you put them there? Like, it's like when someone says, "I will shit your pants." That's a hell of a threat. And then I commented back for Geek-Stew. I said, guaranteed at least a couple were buried under salt.
I mean, at this point, it's pretty much guaranteed.
I mean, yeah, for real, it is because I mean, you got freaking hauntings and shit. But
Unless the haunt, well, I guess it is the hauntings that does kind of make me think, presume it's the noises, you know? Like, obviously, there's squirrels in the attic that we have no control over. But I don't know. Sometimes there's noises up there that don't sound like squirrels, you know? Like, I don't think it's normal for a squirrel to sound very much like a heavy man in boots walking rhythmically.
yeah, I would call an exorcist, a young and an old priest.
That one's fine. It's just noises. I've never actually seen anything.
You're like, look, as long as you stay in the attic, we're fine. just don't come down.
Pretty much. We don't go into the attic. In fact, no, okay. I'm looking at it right now. It's not nailed shut, but it's damn near close.
You're like, it may be nailed shut when I nail it shut, but
Hey, you know what they say? Live and let live. Whoever it is, he wants to live up there, more power to him.
just don't fuck with me, bro.
Exactly. As long as he's not poking his ghosty head through the ceiling, his floor, I guess, and watch me beat my meat. Cool. Boundaries.
Boundaries, that's right. Oh, Lord. So then the other comment on that one was from an individual named Bruce Archer saying that they're opening an underground bakery where they bake exclusively with breast milk. And yes, we do accept food stamps and trades. Someone else enjoyed that comment because they liked it and commented a laughing emoji. And then I commented, do you accept additional podcast episodes as trade, asking for a friend?
Well, okay, so hold on. Trying to wrap my head around this. So this commenter, he says he is starting an underground bakery that uses breast milk.
Correct.
Where?
They didn't say. They didn't disclose the location of said breast milk bakery.
It has come to my attention that a friend is in the market for such a thing, and they have just asked me what the address is.
I bet that friend did ask you that. Is that friend's name Salsa?
No?
No? Question mark? Oh shit. But Bruce Archer actually has commented on many a video of ours, so thanks for that, man. Continue doing it. And actually, speaking of asking,
I'm good to see what his other comments are.
The other one wasn't too bad. He just said he was. We were talking about Kevin Smith not too long ago. He commented something about going as Silent Bob for Halloween.
That's a good choice. It's real easy too.
Yeah.
Find some jorts and a trench coat.
Same. But anywho, so oh man, but if you haven't already, everybody's asked some questions. Like, go in comments down below and just ask some questions from Salsa and I. I haven't told Salsa this yet, but I'm going to see him in November, and we're going to do our 200 subscribers video that I have set to release preliminarily on Black Friday. So,
what a weird choice, Black Friday.
Preliminarily, it may change, but I just got an idea for it. But
preliminary, copulary, capillary, whatever.
But when I go down to see Salsa, I'm going to try and get him to appear on film, but not without covering his face, because Salsa would like to keep his identity a secret. So I'll basically,
when you know the things I do and met the people I've met, you can't just allow your image to be placed on the internet. It's for my protection, for my family, for my friends.
So salsa is involved in something illegal. I just feel it.
Listen, it's technically illegal, but government sanctioned. Kind of like when the US government tells you to assassinate a foreign leader. It's legal because they told you to, but if you get found out, they will absolutely throw your ass in prison.
Okay. So I'm assuming that you are not an assassin per se, but but your work is similar to that of an assassin, whereas it is illegal.
Now would be a very bad time to mention I am Q.
I am Q. Oh man.
That would be a very disappointing reveal.
It would be, especially since like you're on some like I mean, I don't want to call us a podunk podcast, but you're on some podunk podcast. You're just like, oh, by the way, I'm Q. You didn't go like on Joe Rogan or something.
Oh no, I'm waiting for email any day now for asking for me to come on the podcast.
Oh Jesus. Anyhow, on to our next topic before we get into too much trouble. I was going to ask you just for you to kind of riff for a second, but any other unexplained happenings? Because apparently, from the podcast where we talk about like your ghosts and stuff, people seem to like that. So anything recent that's happened, paranormal wise, in your area?
Oh no, as much as I wish I was haunted by more active spirits, no, it's been rather quiet. Only thing that's been going on around here is roaches, obviously. Oh, get really tired of roaches.
The super roaches.
I have a what do they call that? A CO2 airsoft gun. Very nice. Got as part of one of those weird. You give us $100, we send you back something worth at least 150. And I won like one of the jackpots. They sent me back like a $300 airsoft pistol, full metal, gold engravings on the slide or whatever. Very nice. I just use it to shoot roaches now. Literally the other day, one easily 3-4 inches long, crawling up on my wall above my TV, and I'm just like, you know what? No, not having it. Pull it out, shoot it. Apparently, I missed just enough that it like just destroyed one of its legs, but it just fell on the floor and scurried away. At which point I was just like, well, shit, now I can't go to sleep because it's going to wait for me to close my eyes and find me. And sure
Man.
enough, I was about to get up and turn the lights off and go to bed, and I saw it slowly creeping up under my desk towards my bed. Fucker didn't stand a chance. Do you know what it looks like to shoot a cockroach at point blank range?
I really can't.
Well, for one, I didn't expect there to be so many bits that fly through the air. But overall, not that bloody. I mean, a good chunk of it just landed right where it was standing, and I vacuumed it up one day, but I still wonder where all those bits flew off to, because I saw them, but after the fact, couldn't find them.
Yeah, you're gonna like go to eat like something one day, and like a chunk of cockroaches is gonna fall on your food or something from the ceiling.
Listen, of all the things that have fallen from the ceiling onto me or my food, that's not the worst.
You're like the asbestos would probably be the worst, but
Well, I mean, there have been times where some of that, what do you call that? The popcorn,
oh yeah, like the popcorn shit that they used to use for like for like ceilings and shit.
yeah, I once had some of that fall into my food.
Yeah.
One time I was playing a game and I felt something on my face. A big ass spider had crawled down from my ceiling fan onto my head and had got right up onto my lips and was trying to get inside. Yeah, that freaked me the fuck out.
Bro, that motherfucker was trying to possess you. He was trying to get inside you.
Listen, man, normally they wait until you're asleep and that's how they get in. Everyone knows you eat like 7 spiders per year in your sleep.
Everyone
Well,
knows this.
yeah, so fuckers around here don't wait.
Amen. Amen to that, brother.
um, I mean, roaches obviously are a huge problem down here. Don't know why. I think it's just because it's, the taint of the U.S. But
It
I
is
mean, seriously,
It is
I don't want to.
Carolinas.
I don't want to say fuck the South, but come on.
The best things ever come out of the South was Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do like me
But
some Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I say, other than that, I did find out the other day. Teflon used to be made with a chemical, PFAS, very harmful to the body. Like, we're talking testicle cancer, kidney cancer, thyroid issues, all kinds of shit.
Nice.
And the company responsible, 3M and a couple others, were literally dumping it into the ocean faster than they were keeping track of.
Jesus
So
Christ.
now, like, if I'm not mistaken, a safe amount to have in your blood is like 60 parts per trillion. And there was one kid who was born and at like 2 years old already had over 100 times that.
Oh, sweet. That's
Or,
what I like to hear.
I say, literally imagine getting testicle cancer at 5.
I mean, imagine being born with 4 arms. Like, at
Well,
that point.
I say, moral of the story is I found out about this through John Oliver. He does that late night show. I don't care for most of it, but I like his informational bits where it's like, oh, here's a quick dive into a complicated topic and how fucked up things really are that you don't know about. And he's like, go to this website, it's ews.org or whatever, and there's an interactive map. And it shows you what areas are most affected by this problem. You want to guess what fucking US state is just rife with this issue?
Which one?
Well, I'll give you a hint. It's got North in the name and it ain't Dakota.
Okay, so North Carolina.
Wow. Spot on.
Spot on, mate. Spot on.
Sorry, it took me a few seconds to catch my breath. All the toxin in my blood's kind of slowing me down.
You're like the dangerous levels of Teflon in my bloodstream is starting to kick in. But actually, not to take over, but a small little. You were talking about how John Oliver talks about like how fucked up shit really is.
Yeah.
I want to tell a small story, kind of talk about the working man a little bit. So, for those of you who don't know, if you don't work in the customer service industry, this is Customer Service Week. So October 4th through the 8th. You guys out there will be listening to this on the 6th, which is tomorrow. We record. Typically, we record like 2 or 3 days before, but this week we're a little slow, so we're doing it the day before. But it's all good. So you guys are listening to this on the 6th. Customer Service Week ends on the 8th, which is this coming Friday. So for those of you who don't know, Customer Service Week is typically just the week to, appreciate and recognize those who work in the customer service industry. It is for a lack of a better phrase, and I don't think I've ever said exactly where I work, but I work with student loans, but I work in like customer service. So we celebrate Customer Service Week at my employer. And I'm not going to say my employer's name. And if anybody from my job is listening, just know that I'm not shitting on like my management when I say what I'm about to say. But I'm
GreatLakes.org.
No, I don't work. I don't work for Great Lakes. I mean, right now, I wish I did work for Great Lakes a little bit because of all the shit that's happening. But no. So if anybody's listening from my job, I'm not talking shit about anybody I work with. I'm really talking shit about just corporations in general, because we all know that Customer Service Weeks was formulated as some like project and some big corporation at the top who said, "Oh, we really need to do something so that way our employees stop killing themselves because they don't feel appreciated." And someone was like, "Oh, let's do Customer Service Week, and we just appreciate them for 1 week, and then continue to treat them like shit, but act like we appreciate them." Um, and so, this year, my company, because last year for Customer Service Week, it was like in the heat of the pandemic. It was like in October of 2020. So, they really didn't do much. But what they did was they sent us like a care package. They sent us like a really nice Yeti cup and like a face mask, some hand sanitizer, a gift card, and some other stuff. And it was really nice. Like I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. Well, this year, they they decided to rein it in a lot. I guess I don't know. Maybe some of the people at the top are hurting for money, so they didn't want to give us too much. But they sent us a very cheaply made apron. I can't remember what it says on it, and they sent us the dry ingredients to make M&M cookies.
I can't imagine, working in the service industry already sucks dick, Customer service is a nightmare. You work more days a year than you should. You have to deal with the worst people imaginable. And for 1 week, you try to take your mind off of it because, oh, corporate cares about you. Wink. And you open your corporate allotted gifts just to find a used condom and a half-eaten Subway sandwich, and not even a good one. It's like the Veggie Delights.
The veggies alive, bro. That's fucking true.
I mean, come on. Don't get me wrong. $70 Yeti cup. I guess that's cool. If you like cold liquids to drink, I don't fucking know. I have a Yeti cup, but I don't use it. Then again, the one I have is like a tiny little 8-ounce one for coffee.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a full on like thing.
No, I wish I need one of those big ones for water because I hate waking up in the middle of the night and just having like my mouth gets so dry at night. I wake up and my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. I breathe in and it feels like I'm literally sucking in dust. And I'm just like, I need water. And I reach for my bottle and it's like, oh, the ice water? Yeah, now it's room temperature. It's like, I'll still drink it just so I don't die, but come on.
Right. But so I mean, yes, I mean, but you understand to the extent that it's like last year they actually tried, I feel like, but this year they're like, let's give them something that will still act like we appreciate them, but doesn't cost us damn near anything. Because I mean, let's say they sent that to like thousands of people, which in theory they did. I mean, what's the overhead on thousands of like individual servings of flour, sugar, some brown sugar? I mean, some baking soda, a couple salt packets. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna tell you, odds are, if they used the most ethical means of production, that would still only cost like $5 per employee. And I guarantee they still look for ways to cut costs. They hired like immigrant children working in migrant prisons.
and I just like, but like they sent us that, and like, don't get me wrong. Again, I don't want to sound like an ungrateful asshole because don't get me wrong, I'm a fat ass. I love cookies, like 100%. I'm going to use that, and like,
I love cookies. I even ate the apron.
true. That was a little hard to get down though. I had to really wash it down with some very cold liquid from the Yeti mug. But don't get me wrong, I get it. Like everyone's hurting this time of year. It's the pandemic and everything else. But like, also like my company's going through like a really big change right now. Like we were working on like one thing and then like we stopped working on that. So like now they're like moving people around and things are very uncertain right now. And like at the end of the year, normally we get like a Christmas bonus, like $500 maybe, which I mean, thing. Like I'm not going to complain. But they normally give us like anywhere between 500 to 1500 depending on how well we did the year prior. So like I'm just expecting this year that we have to pay them to continue to work here. So
Well, I'm gonna be honest. When you told me they got you a Yeti cup on top of other shit last year, I was already like, bull fucking shit. There's no way their gift to you for Employee Appreciation Week wasn't, oh, we let you work from home so you don't have to catch coronavirus.
man, oh, and don't even get me started on that. But when like they made all these changes, right? And like they're shuffling people around, and they shuffled me into a new department. And like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not complaining. The department's easy, but like I didn't ask to be put in this department, and then they're like demanding that I come back to office. And I guess a demand might be a little bit of a heavy phrase, but they very heavily implied that coming back to office would be ideal for them.
Listen, if I heavily imply I want you to come to my house, and I do so by laying a loaded 45 on the table, that's demanding.
It really is that, and it's not like they didn't like obviously they didn't give like any ultimatums or anything else, but my boss pushed back on her bosses who were asking me to come back, and she's my boss is cool, so she's like, okay, I got you until November. So at the very least, November 1st is what I guess I'm anticipating to potentially have to go back, but that might be pushed back even more. We'll see how it goes. But
Your boss is just like, so I've prolonged your life expectancy until November. At that point, you're fucked.
I mean, honestly, like I don't want to say I'm fucked, but like probably once a week we get an email from like because we have like an alert system within our company. So like if there's any outages or like let's say like there's a fire on site or there's like a tornado or some shit, like they'll let us know through this alert system. Well, this alert system has also been utilized lately in an attempt to let us know when people get COVID. So we get like an email and a text once a week, probably, sometimes more, letting us know that someone else caught COVID.
You know, honestly, that's less than I expected. There's that big engine manufacturing company, Cummins.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, they're all
I was,
over the
I,
place.
oh yeah, I know some people who work there, and all the time I'm hearing like, oh yeah, we got another message this week, 3 more people. Last week, 10. Week before that, 30. It's like nonstop. There are just people coughing in each other's faces and just licking doorknobs in that factory.
Oh, coughing in each other's faces and licking doorknobs.
I mean, don't get me wrong, when I worked there, I kind of wanted to kill myself too, but I'd at least do something more efficient than trying to catch the COVID.
True, true. Oh man, I was gonna say and see that's the worst thing too is I'm sure factories right now are getting fucked big time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You have to think those factories. And I'm not saying this about every factory, but like I know my employer, like don't get me wrong, like they're probably taking some shortcuts somewhere to make things better. But it is what it is. But I know the factories, they're really bad about cutting costs and cutting corners as much as humanly possible in an attempt to save themselves money. So
I know that I worked at a factory once, and the factory was known to outsiders as a very safe place to work. Everyone always said, oh yeah, all the time they're doing, committees and stuff, finding new ways to improve quality of life for their employees. Well, I worked there for a little under a year, I think. And the position I started on as a temp, they're like, oh, yeah, you're the third guy to work this position because the last two both got the same exact injury from the machine you're going to be working. And I'm like, what kind of injury? They're like, oh, you see how this device rolls into this one? Well, their fingers get caught up here and they either break or a bunch of skin gets ripped off.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like there's something they could do to fix that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we could probably do something to fix it, but that would cost money. So they're kind of waiting until you get injured to do it. You know, 3-strike rule.
Three strike rule. Jesus. I didn't know that there was a strike rule when it came to specifically bodily harm and dismemberment.
I think the funniest part is I was so concerned with injuring myself on that when I finally did get injured on the job, it was something entirely mundane.
Yeah, didn't you fall and break your arm?
Well, it was weird. We were working, for one, we were working like several days in a row, no days off. I think at this point I was on like my 15th or 16th day in a row without a day off. And we had just, passed like the 5 a.m. mark. So I was on my like, I can't remember which hour of the day it was, but long story is it had been a long fucking day. I was really tired. I wasn't paying attention. Well, I was paying attention. I just wasn't paying much attention to how my leg was positioned. So when I went to turn and step over to lower this heavy object onto a pallet, my left kneecap, which I have dislocated in the past, buckled. I could feel it move out of place, which
Jesus.
caused me to collapse onto the floor and land right on my wrist. Now, as I'm sitting there on the floor, my right hand is feeling my kneecap like, okay, it's not out of place. It doesn't feel broken. Thank fucking God. I was so worried about that. And then I pull up my left hand and I try to move my fingers and I can't. And I'm like, oh fuck.
I just imagine like you're laying there trying to determine like the damage that you've incurred, and you're just like, okay, kneecaps in place, we're good. My back feels all right. Like my neck doesn't feel like it got broke. I don't have a concussion, I don't think. And then you're like, okay, let's get up. You move your left hand. You're like, oh fuck.
That's pretty much like every time I've gotten seriously injured, I literally will lay there and just very quickly, like a robot, do a diagnostic check like, okay, what do I feel? Where is it located? Let me just look. Like when I first dislocated my kneecap, I was laying on the floor and I'm like, okay, everything feels okay. A little bit of pain, but that's expected. I sit up and I'm like, okay, my arms are okay, my chest, looking at my legs, and they didn't look like they were anything was wrong because I'm wearing jeans. So I run my hand down the legs. Right one, okay. Left one, there's supposed to be a kneecap here. So I move my hand to the side of my leg and I feel my kneecap floating. I'm, I'm thinking to my, I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, this is gonna freak my friend out because he's notoriously squeamish.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So in my infinite wisdom, I thought I don't want to scare him, so let me just, and I grab the kneecap and just push it back into place. Made a bit of a weird squelch noise.
You
Hurt
know,
like a motherfucker.
I was saying, weren't you at like was that the cave? Wait, didn't you try and get on a skateboard?
I didn't try to get on one. It was some sports store in some mall, and whoever had been in charge of keeping the skateboard section clear of skateboards on the ground failed the job horrendously. There were like 10 just on the ground, and I had accidentally stepped on one and
Okay, I got you.
immediately fell and busted my ass on the floor. Pretty sure my head rebounded off of the hard tile.
Oh man, and see, I know exactly what story you're talking about. That store is still there, weirdly enough. It's also strange that like they had a whole aisle dedicated to just skateboards. Like,
It
like it's
was
not.
weird.
I mean, because you got to think like I don't really think skateboard boards were like that huge of a commodity in the town that we lived in.
Yeah, and not to mention, I'm pretty sure anyone who's serious enough to buy a skateboard is not going to go to their local Dick's Sporting Goods and buy some generic one. They're
Right.
probably going to order it online.
Which, by the way, we didn't have a Dick's Sporting Goods, but it was like an off-brand Dick's Sporting Goods.
Cox.
Welcome to Cox. Uh,
Welcome to Penis Sporting Utility.
Shit. Penis Sporting Utility. Same, bro. Same.
I
I
would
was saying,
unironically name my store that just for fun. Or Pen 15. That's a little more, I don't know, classy, not too on the nose.
Pen 15. So I'm pretty sure there is a store called Pen 15. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a store called Pen 15.
It wouldn't surprise me, but come on, how do you look at that sign and not immediately think, oh, penis and also balls?
Dick and also balls. Um, no, I was gonna say because we were talking about injuries, and I don't know if I told the story, but I recently actually injured myself, and like I'm better now, but like this is about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It's been a minute, but so to kind of follow up on Salsa's story about him, dislocating his kneecap and breaking his hand. I've never had any major like bone breaks or injuries, knock on wood. So don't mind me over here. I've never had any major injuries of that nature, but I have like hurt myself before. Like I've had like a broken nose a couple times from like baseball and stuff, but I've never had any like broken arms or legs or anything. Again, knock on wood.
We can fix that.
Yeah, please don't. I'd rather not. I have been in a car accident though once, trying to swerve out.
Same.
What'd you say?
That's the same.
When were you in a car accident?
Bro, don't you remember that time we were coming over the bridge and got rear-ended by that dumb bitch?
Oh well, you weren't driving though. That was when we were with Jay, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah, but of course I've never been in an accident while driving. I'm, unlike you, a good fucking driver.
1 second.
Hold on, let me Google a quippy response to that.
No, you're good. But no, so like, but to be fair, my car accident was just I was trying to swerve out of the way of some animal that got in the way, and I know now that if I were to, have that issue, I'm just gonna have to kill the animal because I don't want to crash my car again. But yeah, no, I was specifically what happened is I was Grubhubbing. So for people who don't know, I have a full time job and then part time I Grubhub because slave wages. And
Gotta get that bread.
seriously, if I want to eat and be able to save money and be able to do things I want to do, I have
It's
to
like
work.
literally, I have to get that bread or else I will not consume food.
Exactly. It's fucking awful, man. Which we can talk about that in a minute because don't get me started. But no, so what happened was I was Grubhubbing, and this person they lived like in the basement of this house. Now, where I live it's near like a college campus, so a lot of houses around campus have been converted into like multiple rooms, obviously because that's just how people do things. Like if someone owns a house, they're going to basically create as much money out of that as possible. And so like they'll renovate the house to have like multiple bathrooms and shit like that. So this place specifically had a downstairs and an upstairs, and the upstairs door was in the front of the house. The downstairs door was literally in the backyard. I didn't understand the instructions this person left, because if they would have said you have to go in the backyard, I would have known. So 1 second, guys. My un momento, por favor.
I think we are the only podcast in which one of us is actively working anytime we record.
Well,
It's kind of like
happened.
that old saying, boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I shit on company time. Except for instead of shitting, we're verbally shitting into microphones and making a podcast out of it.
Verbally shitting.
Oh man. I'll say once you finish your story about however you injured yourself in what seems like a very mundane situation, I can't wait to find out the conclusion of this. But
Sorry. That's my bad. I'm over here trying to do multiple things. Well, I'm not even actually working. I'm actually doing something for like real life.
I think isn't work real life?
I mean, I suppose.
That's a very vague response, but okay, understandable. But yeah,
Understandable. Have a nice day.
I'll say once you're done telling that story, will be about time to wrap up. So I'll tell the story about Ghost Recon, a little bit of gaming news in what used to be a gaming podcast.
Right. Honestly, if you want to go ahead and tell that, I'll finish my story after
Okay.
you're done.
All right. So Ghost Recon. I've not been a huge fan since the beginning. Some of the games are pretty cool, so I've heard. Most of my experience has been in the last, I don't know, 10 years maybe. Rainbow Six Vegas was kind of my introduction into Tom Clancy games. And since then, I've played a few titles. I was really big into Wildlands and Breakpoint. Breakpoint a little less so because, as we all know, any of us who are familiar with video games, shitty launch. Literally launched with like half a game. Even to this day, after 2 years of development beyond launch day, we still have yet to conclude the story to the game. We literally have to wait until like November 10th for the final installment. And they better give it out for free, because if they don't, I'm going to shit my pants. But
I'm going to shit my pants.
that's a promise. But today was their 20th anniversary. And, it's good to give back to the community. For example, on the whatever anniversary of Tomb Raider, they did a crossover where you could find some treasure left behind by the Tomb Raider herself, Mrs. Tomb Raider, Laura Croft.
Mrs. Tomb Raider.
It's like, I don't know. I never played the games.
I mean, you know who Laura Croft is, even if you've never played it.
Okay, yeah. Guilty as charged. Really good Rule 34. Point
I was
is,
gonna say, we all know that you're browsing the Rule 34 subreddit for some Laura Croft bussy.
all right, you're not using that term correctly, but yes, I have in fact seen Laura Croft bussy. That would be Rule 63? Or is it Rule 43? I don't know. Point is, I'm not going to get into the logistics of it, but I've seen it. It exists. I probably have it saved in one of the many terabytes of porn on my computer. That aside, for her anniversary, they did a little scavenger hunt. Literally all it was is there was a map that gave you vague directions on finding point A. And literally, it's like, oh yeah, it's off the coast of this section of the island. Good fucking luck, because when you fly near it, there's no marker to indicate where it is. You just have to guess. So I, being lazy, just Googled where it was. I get point A, I get point B, and I get point C. Once you get all the items, you take it back to some cave, and you win. And all you win is wore blue tank top. You can't change the color, and it looks ridiculous on the male characters. Her original sunglasses from like the first game, like 20 years ago, those weird like octagon, I don't know, weird. And then her pistol, which was easily the coolest thing of the bunch, but you can't silence it. So literally, it's useless in a game that heavily promotes stealth. But whatever. That's just a side story to the main story. Broken brain, I get sidetracked. Point is, that's one thing they could have done for the 20th anniversary. Well, instead, they did three things today. They did a recap of all of the things that have come before, including talking about the developers behind current games, previous games, the lore, the deep, rich history behind the games. And then they did oh, well, here's what we're going to give you for free because 20 years, literally all it is right now you can go download the original Ghost Recon for free, which I'm pretty sure it only costs $2 anyway. You can download the one of the two DLCs for Wildlands for free, and one of the two DLCs for Breakpoint for free. Which it's free stuff, so I'm not complaining.
Right.
But the final thing they did is they're like, oh, we have a new game, and here is a trailer. And we talked a little bit about this before the podcast began, and I simply posed the question to Ike. If you had to guess what the worst thing you can do to Ghost Recon, a game that is historically all about military simulation, very gritty, realistic, cutting edge, not sci-fi, mind you, but it's a very down-to-earth, realistic game. What is the worst thing you could do to that genre? And what was your answer?
I said make a battle royale out of it.
And I came to the conclusion that he clearly is a Ubisoft executive because there's no fucking way he could have just guessed that off the top of his head. I literally said, you had to have just Googled that. There's no fucking way.
I was like, because we had a small conversation for people who don't know, we a little behind the scene. We were just having a little chat before we started the podcast, and he asked me that. And I'm like, oh, I mean, if I had to guess, I mean, outside of basically making a remake of everything, I would venture to guess the worst thing you could do in the 21st century is make a battle royale out of some bullshit that you've already done. And I guess I was right.
Yeah. So, I mean, these guys have been working for the past 3 years making a battle royale. First off, battle royales died off like 2 years ago. All the ones that came out in the last 2 years suck. It's literally just either a PUBG clone or a Fortnite clone. And this one is a very interesting mix of the two.
Oh man.
And you know what? I said, as bad as it is, as much as I hate it, I'll probably give it a chance just once, just to see how bad it is.
Same.
But the subreddit, Ghost Recon r/whatever, as soon as I watched the live stream and they showed that, I was like, I wonder how long I'm going to have to wait before I see the subreddit literally implode. And no doubt at some point get quarantined and the mods just scrub everything. 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and it was just nonstop rolling in new posts. Rant, 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 critic, memes, people just posting the dumbest shit like, well, I guess since Ubisoft is just going to kill the Ghost Recon franchise, we might as well kill the subreddit.
Right. Oh, shit.
I said, literally mutually assured destruction at this point.
It's like a dead man switch.
Pretty much. I literally posted, I'm gonna have, I don't know if it's been deleted or what, but I jokingly posted something about me putting in my my resume to be the head executive something or other, where basically they just come to me, tell me their ideas, and I tell them how stupid they are. And
I mean,
I'd be surprised if they haven't deleted it yet, because apparently they have been nonstop, just been deleting rants for the last 2 hours.
I'm not surprised. I mean, it's like anytime something big happens in any game community, like when they, what was it that they did in Warzone? Because I don't really follow it, but I read an article about it. They did something in Warzone, and like all of these like fucking people were losing their goddamn minds, and basically caused the subreddit to just explode. And they basically were like, "Yeah, we're not doing that." But it just blows my mind that people are just like, I'm going down with this ship one way or fuck another.
Like, the funny thing is, with Warzone, it was probably something as dumb as, oh yeah, we're rebalancing some of the guns and removing something,
That
and people
you're
just
right.
lost. That's
You're
every time. That's what it is with Warzone. They just rebalance and people lose their fucking minds. But with them, it's just a vocal minority.
so.
With a Ghost,
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll let
well,
you finish, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
okay. With the Ghost Recon subreddit, though, it's not even the minority. They're not even. It's everyone. I've seen one. Count 1 out of 1,000 new posts. And that one was like, it can't be that bad, right? And immediately it was dogpiled and ratioed.
Downvote, downvote, downvote,
Yeah,
downvote.
I'm pretty sure the dude has negative 1,000 karma now, or however they rate it on Reddit.
He hopefully had a throwaway account to post that with, because if not, he just got fucked.
If I were him, I would have been embarrassed to post that even on a throwaway. You need a throwaway of a throwaway.
You're right. Mega throwaway to the third degree.
And I don't blame him, you know? I may not be a diehard fan of the series, but I loved Wildlands. And then when Breakpoint came out, I was like, well, that was real fucking dumb of them to turn a stealth action game into a looter shooter. And they fixed it later, like a
Right.
year later. But then right off that, have you heard about X Defiant?
No.
Okay, so X Defiant is a Tom Clancy mashup. It's going to introduce Ghost Recon to all their other, like, Splinter Cell and all their other games. And from what I can tell, it's a 5v5 first person shooter. Pretty much Rainbow Six Siege style, but a little more arcadey.
Okay.
It looks so bad. Like, literally, the X Defiant, the whole joke is the X and the D look like that old emoticon XD.
Right, when you're laughing.
Yeah. If that's anything to go by, whoever thought of this and pitched it to Ubisoft should probably commit seppuku. There are capital sins
Yeah.
that carry less grave weight than what they did to this world.
You're like, look, I'm pretty sure the Pope would rather forgive someone who committed suicide than forgive you for what you've done.
Jesus himself will more readily allow you into heaven for killing yourself than he would for even mentioning X Defiant. Point is, they came out with that, and everyone was like, wow, this is a terrible idea. This is going to be awful. We're going to be very vocal and let you know how bad it is, and hope and pray that you listen to us and course correct. Because we told you what you did wrong with breakpoints. You eventually fixed it. And instead of learning from your mistakes, you fucked up again with X Defiant. How do you fuck up 3 games in a row and not once have the self awareness to stop and think, are we the bad guys? So yeah,
Jesus.
that's where we are right now. Things are not good for Ghost Recon fans.
Yikes. Well,
Like unironically, a lot of the posts on the subreddit are telling people to go buy some. I can't even remember what the games are. There's like 2 that keep getting mentioned. Insurgency Sandstorm and some other indie title. And you know shit's bad when people are going onto a subreddit dedicated to Ghost Recon and telling other fans to just say fuck it and buy the the competitor's game.
hey, maybe they'll get some response out of them that way. But
That would be funny, but no, money talks.
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's gonna suck probably, and I'll probably still try and play it. But you know, battle royales, like it or not, make a lot of money. So it's not surprising that they're wanting to cash in a little bit on that.
Yeah, what can you do? It's apparently making a good video game is going the way of the dinosaur.
Hey, well, I'm just hopeful for other games that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully not sucking, but
Yeah, I was going to say,
anywho,
can you even name a specific game right now that you're looking forward to?
Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West.
I don't know, man. They're catching a lot of well-deserved flack for that dumb shit they tried to pull. Have you heard about that?
Something to do with Aloy's face, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was kind of a dumb thing to complain about. Like, yeah, it was weird that she looks so much different in a weird way, but no. Basically, from day one, Sony promised that Horizon Zero Dawn, if you buy it on the PS4, will have a free upgrade to the PS5 version.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, yeah, they promised it for that game and a couple others. And then it came out like a month ago that, oh yeah, no, we're not doing that. We never said we would. Even though people have screenshots of when they said they were going to. So Sony's just been colossally fucking up month after month. I feel bad for them, you know? Not Sony, but for PlayStation gamers, you know? I said to there's a great podcast and streamer. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I think I told you about him. He's a kind of PlayStation focused
Oh
streamer
yeah.
slash host. Cool guy, you know. Accidentally found him when YouTube threw me into one of his live streams. Had a laugh, you know, made some jokes. We all enjoyed. And I've kind of followed him since then. But on one of his Twitter posts, you know, I mentioned how Sony just really doesn't care for their fans right now. You know, Xbox has Game Pass, which has been a godsend. You know, $15 a month, and I get day one access to like Back for Blood, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2021, pretty much anything, even a Sony exclusive. I forget what it was. Some sport game came to Xbox Game Pass day one.
Wasn't it like MLB The Show or some shit?
That's it. MLB The Show. Can you imagine how angry Sony fans were to find out that we just got to play it for free day one?
I imagine they're pretty fucking salty.
Exactly. And I don't want to rub it in their face. I just want them to know that I feel for them because Sony, at the very least, needs to come up with an alternative, their version of Game Pass. Will it be as successful? No fucking way. Xbox now owns like all the big game studios, and every day they're buying more.
Yep, they sure are.
But hey, they need to come up with something. Otherwise, all those Sony fans will become Xbox fans before long.
Some of them would rather die before owning an Xbox. So,
I mean, hey, if they want to die, let them die. They'll fade into obscurity along with the name Sony.
True. But all right, because we should better probably wind this down. So I guess I should probably finish my story. Apologies for earlier, folks, because I forget how to multitask sometimes. But so as we wind down, a small story time. So like I said, delivering to this place, delivering some Panda Express. Went to his house. They lived in the basement portion, and the entrance to the basement was in the backyard. Now it was raining, mind you, so I went over to this person's house and I pulled up, got out of my car, was walking around in their driveway, and I was like, I have no idea where this place is. The instructions were not very clear. Got my dick stuck in a ceiling fan. So I was like, okay, so let me call them. So I give them a call, and I'm like, hey, I said, I'm confused by your instructions, man. I was like, I'm here. I'm in your driveway. I said, you said do what now? And he's like, oh, you'll have to come in the backyard. He's like, you can come up on the porch and cross over. I was like, all right, man. I said, I'll do that. I'll be over there in just a sec. And I saw the person come up the stairs from the basement. So I was like, oh, okay, I see where they're coming from now. I walk over, and he goes back down the stairs. So like, instead of just standing there and waiting and grabbing the food from me, he fucking went back downstairs. And I'm
what
like,
a motherfucker.
I was like, God damn it, you literally came upstairs. Like, just wait a goddamn second. So I walk over, go to walk down the stairs, and the first fucking stair I take, I fucking slip. And I tumble down the rest of the stairs. And
Jesus.
I mean, thankfully it wasn't even like a full flight of stairs. It was like a half flight of stairs. But regardless, I fell like 4 or 5. And so like I handed this guy his food while I'm laying there, and like I have to do like a real quick, like you said, a real quick diagnostics check to make sure nothing's broken. And so like I figure quickly, I'm like, okay, I don't think anything's broken. So I'm like, I hand him his food and I get up and go, and he's like, you good, man? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. And
yo, you good, man? Yeah.
I mean, really though, and it really fucking hurt. And so like I got back in the car and like I started to pull out of their driveway, and like literally my entire body was like racked with pain. Like my back hurt, my lower back hurt, my right arm, I accidentally hit it on something, so like my right hand was all cut up and scraped. Looks like, and my knuckles were all busted open and shit and bleeding. And like I didn't hit my head or nothing, but like my ass hurt. Like, oh my god, it was rough. And so thankfully I didn't break anything or seriously hurt myself. But like I always seem to like do those things that like make me be in pain for like a week, and then like I'm fine. But like I just remember like for a week, like I couldn't really bend my left arm too far, because if I did, like I would get shooting pains into my neck.
I mean, imagine how fucking embarrassing it would have been if you died working for Grubhub.
Bro, I honestly, I would literally force myself to come back to life. I don't care what deals I have to make with what deity or demon. I'm coming back to life because I'm not going out that way.
Your fucking ancestor be like, we died at the Battle of Thermopylae just for you to fall down a flight of stairs delivering cheap Chinese food.
Oh man. I fucking love Panda Express though. It's good shit.
It's all right. I mean, it's easily like the lowest tier of Chinese food,
I
but
mean,
it's
which is saying a
consistent.
lot.
Yeah. Like,
No,
there's a
yeah.
great place locally that does a really fucking good General Tso's chicken. It's spicy, it's wet and moist and saucy. That's one thing I don't like about Panda Express is every time I go there, the one thing I get, the chicken, is dry as fuck.
What chicken do you get? I'm trying to
I
think.
don't
With
fucking know. I
does it?
literally have only been there like 5 times, and I don't remember what I get anytime.
Huh.
It's literally the closest they have to General Tso's. It's like some just standard chicken in a very, very thin sauce that is pretty much non-existent.
I'm trying to think of what you get. You probably don't get like the orange chicken. I wouldn't imagine.
I don't know. Maybe it's orange. Who fucking knows?
You probably get like some. You probably get like the teriyaki chicken. Which teriyaki chicken's good, but you have to get extra sauce because the chicken itself is cooked with some, but you have to get extra because it's not as
Probably
good.
not teriyaki.
I don't know,
Like
man.
here, I'll Google Panda Express menu. Fucking real helpful. All of it's literally just build your own plate, build your own bigger plate, build your own bowl. It's like shut the fuck up and show me what you put in them.
You're like, what goes in the goddamn plate, you motherfucker?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
All right, so I'm pretty sure it's the original orange chicken.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't that saucy. I will give you that. It could be more saucy. With COVID and everything else, they actually carry like packets of like most of the sauce, so you could make it more saucy.
I mean, all I know is if I go to a Chinese restaurant and I order anything that is supposed to be saucy and it comes out and it's dry because the sauce has been absorbed into it, you better bring me extra sauce. Don't even make me ask you.
If I have to ask you, I will. You there will be punishment.
I
I'll say,
remember,
go ahead.
I don't know, it's not even really well, it is a memory, but it's just such a weird thing. I remember as a kid going to Kings Island in
Yeah.
Ohio, and while there, I remember I had some meal plan because I was on a trip with a bunch of church people. And the meal plan was like, all right, you can either get Chick-fil-A, which I hate, or you can get Panda Express, which I do not care for. But I was like, fine, Panda Express it is. And it was located in this giant fuck all log cabin area.
Yep. Yep. I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm just over here laughing.
And everyone's like sitting there eating their Chick-fil-A because, of fucking course, a bunch of white teenager churchgoers are going to eat Chick-fil-A. It's the closest they can get to say fuck gay people without outright saying fuck gay people. I think that joke might have landed a little flat.
No, I'm laughing. I'm laughing, but I don't know if I should laugh.
Point
Oh
is,
man.
I'm like one of the only two people who gets Panda Express. And I don't know. I do not like dishes that are very just a jumble of nonsense. Like, if your dish is anything more than two ingredients, chicken and like a single type of vegetable, I don't
Right.
want it. I don't want a dish that's beef in a sauce with like edamame and onions and carrots. Just give me a bowl of the beef and some rice, or chicken and rice. Maybe chicken, onions, and rice. But the minute you start like making it look like a salad,
You're like, I'm out.
yeah, I only do Caesar. Caesar is the only good salad.
Damn, that's it's a very hefty a hefty judgment. The only worthy salad is a Caesar salad.
Listen, I'll make an exception for, I don't know, at Wendy's they have taco salad, but I don't count taco salad a real salad, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard
Because
to count taco salad as salads considering it's typically like got nothing but like meat and cheese.
yeah, it's like the minute you dump a bowl of chili onto your salad, it's not really a salad. It's chili with lettuce.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, Caesar salad, way to go. Wendy's has a real good spicy chicken Caesar salad, or just a Caesar salad.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen their spicy chicken Caesar salad there before. I've never had it, but you know.
So yeah, at the end of the day, Caesar salad's the way to go. I like my shit simple, just leafy, not the crunchy, just leafy romaine lettuce with Caesar dressing. Don't even care for the croutons. Maybe some cheese.
You know, I'm
That's
not a
all.
huge fan of croutons either. But actually, speaking of Caesar salads, I think we've talked about it before. But we were going to go on a cruise this year, but we're not now because of COVID. Um, and on the
Pray for
cruise,
us.
yeah, for real, pray for us. We have to stay in the country for Thanksgiving. Um, but such a first world problem, you know. For people who are curious, I am too poor to afford it. Same thing with salsa. But our family, like some our I guess we could say our family. I'll just say our family. Technically not Salsa's family, but our families. Like they come together
I
and
have
like,
no family.
but like we all kind of come together and like we all pitch in where we can. But mostly other people will purchase the cruise as sort of like a family getaway, if you will, and we all go
Because
together.
it's really not that expensive when you think about it.
Right. And like they typically they'll start paying for it like a year out. So they're paying on it, you know, monthly to make it more manageable and they pay extra when they get extra money and shit. And I mean, it works out. And you're right, it's really not that expensive. When me and my wife were planning on going on a cruise for a honeymoon, which again got canceled because of fucking COVID, our our thing was less than $1,000 for the both of us. And it was all inclusive, everything else. We were paying for our drink packages beforehand and everything else. Like it was going to be lit, but then it just didn't happen.
God, I do miss it, you know? For one, the drink package. You can go on, pay 250 bucks basically, and just every night you can have like 15 drinks and they won't even stop you.
You could be on the verge of alcohol poisoning. They're not going to stop you.
And so I remember one night, it probably woke up around like 10 a.m. I had a few drinks, probably on drink number 4 after lunch. At which point I made my way to it's a piano lounge. Literally, it's just a room with a view out of the onto the ocean and a woman who plays piano. Place was pretty well packed. I sit down, I'm just like, ooh, I like piano. Plus, she plays songs that everyone knows, so everyone's singing. It's just a jolly good time. I sat there for easily 6 hours, not even realizing it because it was so fun. And I must have drank 13 drinks in that room alone.
I remember because he salsa like the next time I saw him was at like dinner that night, and like he told me he's like yeah he's like I spent like all day in the piano lounge. You guys got to come with me after dinner, and so we because on the cruise ship you can get like a really fancy dinner, so we ate our fancy dinner and then we went into the piano lounge for drinks. And I mean yeah it was just honestly it was really relaxing. Like we're all just kind of sitting there singing songs like oh god, I'm trying to think of one song that they sang that was like really singable.
Piano Man?
Well, okay, I guess, but um, like they were playing like Maroon Five. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
If you try to fucking tell me Piano Man is less singable than Maroon 5 when you're in a piano lounge, you're just wrong.
I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to not. I'm not saying that not a whole lot of people know who what Piano Man is, but I have a feeling that our target audience may or may not know, given that they are on the younger side typically.
Who
But
the fuck is our target audience?
I'm pretty sure it's like 18 to like 24-year-olds, maybe. I honestly don't. I think that's our target demographic, like
I don't
regarding.
know.
Well, I don't know exactly either. I don't remember all this shit off the top of my head. But the point
I mean,
being is that they may not know Piano Man.
there's no way. There's no way a grown adult, does not know Piano Man. It's iconic. You think Piano Lounge, first thought should be Piano Man.
Or like some like real old, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, Sinatra.
I mean, yes, in theory, but
Fly me to the moon. Let me
as
play among the
as great
stars.
as Sinatra is, as much as I love Frank, I think that the reason Piano Man is the default is because it is literally a song about a piano man in a piano lounge singing to a bunch of drunk people. That is literally peak meta commentary.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Oh shit. All right, we should probably wrap this up. But the point of me bringing up the cruise was because they have really good Caesar salads on the cruise.
Oh yeah.
that was the purpose of me bringing that up. Yeah, because Salsa brought up Caesar salads. But yeah, don't get us started on the cruise. We'll talk for hours about the cruise and our favorite moments on cruises and
Pretty
how
sure we've
badly
done
we
that on the
wished.
podcast already.
I'm pretty sure we have,
I mean,
but
to know for sure, I'd have to go back and listen to myself talk, and God, I really don't want to do that.
oh Lord. But well, all right, we're gonna end it there because yeah, we're like coming up on almost over an hour, and I don't want to make these too long, or else people stop listening to them. Um, but so for everybody who's out there listening, go ahead and like and subscribe, follow us on social media, all that good shit. Thanks for listening as always, and go ahead and leave some comments down below, some questions for me and Salsa because coming up in November, we're gonna finally do a 200 subscribers video with me and Salsa, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So I will say thank you for again listening. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. And Salsa, go ahead and close us on out.
I don't have any words of wisdom this time. In fact, that seems to be a running theme. I am never prepared for this segment. How about a ooh, I know. The greatest Greek warrior who ever lived. Both of these testicles. That is all, folks.